Hey, how's it going there, ladies and gentlemen? So for this video, I want to talk about One Piece and Blackbeard. So for the longest time, I thought Blackbeard would be like the main villain of the story, like the very end villain, just the most chaotic character who has everything planned out and has because in Marineford he did stand against the Marines, and I thought he would stand up against the world government in the very end. He became a Yonko too, and he has the Beehive, and that reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean. We have all these just ruthless pirates all in one area. But and then Emu came, and Emu kind of changed the story. Now everyone's saying like Emu's gonna be like the big bad person in the story. I do have some I don't know. I did get some like Kaguya vibes when Emu do come. I did say this a million times already, but I don't want to repeat myself. But Blackbeard, I do want to talk about because when we first met Blackbeard, of course he is like the opposite of Luffy because when he was introduced in the bar, Luffy didn't like the cherry pie. Blackbeard loved the cherry pie. There's a drink that Luffy liked, and there's a drink that Blackbeard didn't like, and they kind of just fought over that. But once they left that area, Blackbeard was saying, a pirate's dream never dies, and he was kind of like, he's always been opposite from Luffy, but he's always had like he's the same as Luffy at the same time. Like once we got to oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name, the prison area, the prison, I forgot the name of the arc. What the heck? Okay, I'm not gonna look it up. But the arc where they're going to go like try to save Ace in the prison, like even Blackbeard was down there because he was trying to like, find a certain someone. He grabbed Shigi and all that, but he was not afraid. He's not afraid of death because once him and his whole crew got taken down by Magellan, like he got poisoned, but he was saved the very last second by Shige, and he was like, haha, oh well. So he does has like this ruthless, like non-going, like relentless goal he has in mind. So, and then of course Marineford, he arrived and he stood up against the Marines and the Whitebeard pirates. He killed Whitebeard, took his devil fruit, and now he has two devil fruits, and that kind of raised a million more questions about him. There's a couple things like his growth is faster in Luffy's because when we first saw Luffy and Blackbeard, because Blackbeard did chase after Luffy when they were trying to get the Skypiea. Blackbeard just had a raft and that was it, and Luffy had a boat. But later on in the story, Blackbeard was able to get a giant like pirate ship that kind of represents Cerberus, and now he's his own giant fleet. I would say Luffy also has a fleet too, but Blackbeard he has his own island, like his own island that he stays at that he conquers. I would say Luffy has the same thing too because he technically owns. He fought Big Mom for Fishman Island and all that. So, and that was pretty much what got me into like watching catching One Piece. It was when Luffy kind of like talked shit about Big Mom, and I thought Big Mom was she definitely was a scary woman. But in that, like when she was first introduced, like she ate a dude and she was drooling and her eyes were just fucking bloodshot. So I thought she was gonna be like a monster. She was a monster, but it's like I don't know. I didn't watch the anime where Big Mom was like introduced or it was like Big Mom was in like Whole Cake Island. I just read the manga, and there was a lot of chase scenes, and I thought Big Mom would be more of a threat than that. Like I honestly thought she would destroy islands. I thought she would like hurt some One Piece characters, like almost like not permanently, but just for a short amount of time. But oh well. Talking about Blackbeard. So with the new stuff about Blackbeard, like once we got in the Wano arc, showed some like flashbacks and all that, like when the Whitebeard pirates went up against the Gold Roger pirates, and there was a part in there where Shanks and no Shanks was hanging out next to Buggy, but Buggy was kind of observing Blackbeard, saying how he never slept the whole time, and he can't really trust the guy. That was kind of interesting because that was kind of like the first like it's not the first observation that Buggy has made this good, but it was like that was one of the first times like I seen Kid Buggy. He's kind of like serious and he's like not really putting much trust in Blackbeard. I kind of want to see how Buggy reacts to like Blackbeard nowadays because Blackbeard's around. He knows who he is because they're both Yonkos. So I really want to see how that happens. There is a theory that Buggy would save Luffy from Blackbeard a long time ago. I kind of want to see that happen. It's a joke when everyone's like showing Ace, that one scene where Ace got punched through, but everyone just kept putting characters right in front of him like Sabo and all that. So something like that. Um, so there are a lot of theories about why Blackbeard is the way he is, why he has two devil fruits, why he doesn't sleep and all that. People are saying like he is not like a human, like not from this earth. People are saying like he's from the moon, but other than that, people are saying like he has the Cerberus fruit. Like the Cerberus, that's the only fruit he doesn't have right now is the Zoan. So people are thinking he has a Cerberus fruit, which allows him the power to have one of each fruit. So that is like the most popular one right now. I can see that happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of it does show that there. Like there's three skulls on his pirate flag, there's three heads on his boats and all that. So everything does represent like Cerberus. But I kind of want to think like what else could it be than that? Because that is, I don't know. It's kind of like one of the most like obvious theories that he has like a Cerberus fruit, but other people are thinking like he's kind of like a glutton, where he's able to eat like multiple fruits. That's why he's like out there hunting fruits, but he is trying to like get every single person's crew an actual fruit. That's what I wanted to see when we were introduced to Kaido, because when we were introduced to Kaido, like after Punk Hazard, Like not Doflamingo. Law said that there was like 1,000 people in that crew that had strong and powerful zone fruits, and then once we got to Wano, it was just kind of like all wonky and all that. Like people had elephants out of their stomach and all that. So I don't know. Once we got to Wano, I was expecting some real like beast monsters people there, like some giant like Rob Lucci's. I was expecting like 1,000 Rob Lucci's on an island. In all honesty, but I don't know. Like there was a lot of waste potential in Wano, but I'm not gonna get on that. Like I said, I'm talking about Blackbeard. So the one thing I did miss though is I never got a chance to see Kaido or Big Mom talk that much about Blackbeard because he's a fellow Yonko. They did talk about like Shanks. They did talk about Whitebeard, but then no one really talks about. I mean, they talk about Whitebeard and they talk about Shanks, but no one really talked about Blackbeard that much. It's like he's really like hiding in the corner or something. Like is no one really know what's going on because he has two devil fruits. He has the Yami Yami, and he has the freaking Quake Quake fruit. Like I don't know. I'd love to be like more news about him, but he did attack, Dragon and the Revolutionaries and all that. So there's that news about him. That was the most shocking one. Is that he chased them? If I remember right, he chased the Revolutionaries out, like out of their island. So I don't know. I still because Dragon, he's considered the most wanted person in the world. At first, I thought it was because of his knowledge and all that, but when he was introduced, he did have control over the weather. So this is like one of my like old theories of when like, ancient weapons were like released and all that. Like I thought he would like have the power to rival an ancient weapon or something like that, just because of his will to free everyone and his will to like I don't know. I would say his will to save everyone, but he wasn't really there for Alabasta when the bomb was about to blow up. But then again, Vivi did save the day. So um, the Blackbeard and Bonnie scene that was definitely interesting. And asking him to be his woman, which is weird because I didn't think Blackbeard would just be going around asking people to be his woman. I thought he just had a certain goal in mind to like get the shit done. But he does have like a goofy like part of him, something like that. And next thing is he's sending other people, to different islands. The main one being like when Burgess went to Dressrosa and he fought against Sabo. That was definitely an interesting one. So that's not the first time it's happened because Burgess had a knife in a bag, and people are speculating that some kind of fruit, or just it was just a bag of fruits. Because in Punk Hazard, once once that creature died, its devil fruit went to an apple and just its ability went to an apple and just changed it into a devil fruit right there. So that's probably what people are thinking was going to happen. Like Burgess was going to stab Sabo or stab Luffy, and then his fruit would move on to the fruit inside the bag. So people are thinking that's what happened with Whitebeard is when he was like covered up and all that. They had a bag of fruits on him, and they just once the fruit turned into the devil fruit, he ate it. But then that kind of how did he eat two devil fruits and why didn't he die? Which kind of leaned towards that Cerberus idea. So yeah, or I don't know. Like once we got to Egghead, we kind of thought we would learn about the history of the devil fruits and all that. But we have like Kizaru, we have Saint Garcia in there, so everyone's trying to leave right now. So oh well. Um, I do want to talk about like he went up against Law. So Law went up. So when Law, Kid, and Luffy went their separate ways, Law got unlucky and met with Blackbeard. I'm gonna say Kid was more unlucky and he met with Shanks, but yeah, there was something coming. So Law, oh my god, dude, in all honesty, we've known Law for the longest time. It would be really messed up if Law does die, but I'm not gonna lie. It would really help with seeing like Blackbeard as a threat because Blackbeard not defeating Law would be really interesting because Blackbeard's he has the power to destroy the world. Like he has the power to create earthquakes and create fissures, multitudes, and all that. And I mean, Law he does have his his room ability and has attack and a bunch of other abilities he can use to defeat Blackbeard. But I thought it was really interesting to see him go toe to toe with Blackbeard for a while. But I would say Luffy would probably do the same thing, and they're kind of considered the same the same bounty and shit. But that's kind of where things get wonky in my opinion. So this does sound like this is gonna sound a little messed up. But I do hope I can see either Law escaping, but barely, and he's going to go to Luffy, kind of report, and then Blackbeard will have someone like chase after him, or he actually does defeat Law, and he steals Law's power, and that just makes make someone or Blackbeard even more powerful. But I don't think they're going to kill Law off just like that, unless like Kid died to Shanks, like just like that, because it kind of did feel like Oda was going on a killing spree there, because how I'm still kind of disappointed how Kaido and Big Mom got defeated. Like Big Mom, I don't know. I did like the fight between Big Mom and Shanks and Law. I really did like that fight. Like the fight between Luffy and everyone versus Kaido. Like all the fights were good, but just the way it was handled, like they fell in the volcano and just dissolved. Like that was the way they went. And then later on we have like Law and then Eustace Kid got unlucky. Like Eustace gets sliced by Shanks. I don't think he's dead. Like I don't think he's gonna be in the bottom of the ocean dead. I think he's probably just gonna be on the island unconscious or just chained up once again, like he was in Wano. Um, but yeah, it does make me wonder, like, what how Blackbeard is gonna be towards the end of the series, especially with Emu. Like, is it gonna be like the Straw Hats versus like Blackbeard versus Emu? Because there's a lot like this is why Oda is like considered Goda. He just has so much stuff in the story and just constantly just brings it in whenever he wants and just creates his little story format. But if you know we are really going to like Elbaf next, next is Rope Poneglyphs, and then the One Piece. I would think Blackbeard would be on like Luffy's tail or something like that, or since Blackbeard has like spies everywhere, he even had spies in the government once, as posing as the Seven Warlords. So I do believe he does have a spy still in the world government. It would make somewhat sense. I don't know. I might be praising Blackbeard too much, but that's the same thing. Blackbeard, he's been planning this shit out from the very start. He started off as just a raft, chasing after Luffy, trying to collect his bounty, and now he has his own fleet, his own pirate island, and he's a Yonko. So he even went after Boa Hancock. Like he went after Boa Hancock until Rayleigh came. But that's the thing about Blackbeard. He's cautious. He is actually no, he's not caught. What? Because when Magellan came, he wasn't that cautious. But when well, I guess he has seen Rayleigh's power before, so that doesn't make sense. So I guess he was expecting to get another ass beating like he did back then by Rayleigh or something like that, or just saw what Rayleigh's capable of. But I thought it was pretty interesting. He went after Boa Hancock, and even the Seraphim were there too. That's pretty interesting. And even Blackbeard had a little trouble with the Mihawk Seraphim. So I do believe like Blackbeard is still growing, kind of like Luffy is still growing. Like Luffy, he is considered a Yonko now. He has Gear 5 and he has the power of a Devil Fruit God. But there is still some like growth to be made because Luffy, I don't think he 100% understands what his power is. He just says he feels like he's 100% free. But I do believe like Blackbeard and Luffy are still gonna get more powerful. Like people are saying, like since this won't be the Cerberus fruit, people are thinking there's gonna be like another God fruit for Blackbeard, so it can like rival Luffy, be like an opposite version of Luffy. So if Luffy's like Joy Boy, has the Joy fruit, like that kind of that fruit, then people were thinking like I don't know. Well, I don't know. I was thinking too, like Blackbeard would have some kind of like the darkness, no, not darkness, like some kind of like opposite of joy, not like a depression fruit, but something related to that. That's like related to a god, like maybe a god in the Void Century that opposed Nika, but also took form of devil fruit and kind of just using that to chase Nika throughout time. Other than that, there are people chasing Nika. Like the world government, they said they've been chasing that devil fruit for the longest time, but always finds a way to escape their grasp. So that makes me wonder if like something like that will happen to Blackbeard as well, unless Oda did change his mind and Blackbeard won't be like the final villain of the story. But I do believe like Luffy and Blackbeard will have a really giant clash either at the One Piece or right before One Piece, kind of like what everyone's been thinking about. Other than that, I have been thinking about the other Gorosei. So I want to think like the Gorosei are after like Luffy and all that, but they're not like giving 100%. They're not throwing everything at Luffy. They're not sending all their troops to go after Luffy. It was just like Saint Garcia and Kizaru, and that's about it. But I want to see like their threat towards Blackbeard because Blackbeard has done almost as much damage. He destroyed Marineford. He's had one of his agents inside the world government and all that, even threatening people there. So it's making me wonder if they're like, are they trying to go after Blackbeard? Because he is a giant threat too. They are sending people after him. Garp did go after that island to save Kobe. I hope Garp didn't die that way. It does, like I said, it does feel like Oda is throwing away characters unless they're not actually dead. Kind of like this kid, Law, Kaido, Big Mom, Garp. Are they actually really dead? Like, is that really how Garp went down? That would make a big change for Ekoiji. Because I'm really excited about his character. Because I do want to see him like save Robin or redeem himself with Robin or his friend, which people are saying that's probably the guy in bandages, the burnt person in bandages or something like that. So yeah. Um. So Blackbeard, I don't know. It's just I want to throw my thoughts about Blackbeard out there real quick because he's definitely an interesting character, and I do believe his part in the story is coming next. Because if people say if this is the year of Shanks, and I do believe Blackbeard will be coming into the fray because he gave Shanks that scar on his head. So it's like, is Shanks was not this powerful back then, or is Blackbeard still just hiding something out there? There's a lot of questions about Blackbeard towards the end of the story, and it will all come full circle like what's coming up next. Because he's not that far away. Like I don't think so because they took their three different routes. Useless Kids on one side and Laws on the other side. We have Shanks and we have Blackbeard and now we have Luffy at Egghead Island and all that. So I can't remember if Luffy took the middle or not. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember specifically, but they're not that far away from each other. That's what I'm trying to say. Even when the Marines went to go save Kobe and all that, they said like the cove wasn't that far away. So I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed my little video about talking about Blackbeard and yeah, have a good day.